But the truth of the matter is, I'm confident that Sundowns, probably, I think it's 7 years now I've been here. We've struggled with this cup, and we are going all out to try and make sure that we finally become the winners of the cup. But that starts with the first step against Kaizer Chiefs. A very difficult encounter considering the number of new players that they've brought in. Very difficult to profile who they are going to be using on this one, considering that in the Carling Black Label, they did not use some of these new signings. So one is looking forward to a very good encounter, I must say. The honest truth is that in the 7 years that I've been here, there are many scenarios that were presented, which is why we did not win this cup. One scenario, at some point, we had too many signings, and we tried to play them in the first match. I think we lost to Platinum Stars because the team had not gelled properly. Another scenario was when we were playing MTN 8 at the same time as we were continuing and in the latter stages of the Champions League. I remember when we lost to Vets in the final, we were unfortunate on that one because we also had Zesco semi-final away from home. We had too many issues that were making the team not to be as fresh as one would have liked. And another scenario was when we bombed out because of Cape Town City, which I think on that one, we were just unfortunate because there were very serious wrong offside calls that were made in Cape Town, and that compromised us. But the truth of the matter is, it is one cup that, in one way or the other, we've always struggled to win over the past 7 years I've been here, and I hear the number of years that you are mentioning even before I was here, and that raises eyebrows. But it's a cup that we all know, and now we've been fighting for it. And I don't want to lie, even Coach Pizzo has been trying his best to win this cup. But for whatever reason, it is one cup that has always been very tricky for us in many ways. But after a very long time, the team had a proper preseason this time around, and we are hoping that we will be able to stamp our authority from the beginning of the season. And that is just a hope, because at this stage, nothing has been proven. Or on Stuart Baxter in this transitional game, I was hoping you are not going to ask that question, because I'm thinking, based on the talk that he made in the media, that he's also coming out guns blazing. They want to reassume their status of being a big team in the country, because the transitional game and the counter-attacking game means you are not making a lot of initiatives to take the game to yourself. And we know for a fact he is very dangerous on transition. And already in my mind, I'm thinking of players like Sekota, like Keegan Dolly, but a very big contrast on Nukovic, because now they've got a striker that is a box striker. And if they want to play a counter-attacking game, then it means he must start from the halfway line to come out. And I don't think that is his strength. So that will be a bit of a compromise in terms of the structure, which is why I think they might want to come out and play in and around our box, which would make the contest very interesting. But you are very right. They've got very useful players on counter-attack, like the ones that I've mentioned. Kama also is a factor in that space. In the midfield, they've signed quite well. Nange has got the pass. The boy that was at Vets, Cole Alexander, has got the pass as well. The Manqoba young boy of Chiefs has got the pass, but it's a big question as to who exactly are they going to use in that midfield, because they must also try to have players that can help them defensively in that space, which brings Katsande into the play, which brings Blom into the play, which brings even an element of Parker, who has done very well in the midfield, who can also play up top and be useful on counter-attacks. So it's going to be very interesting, because at this stage it's very difficult to know what will they do. But one thing we know is that Nukovic is a very important player for them, and he must play. And if they want to play a counter-attacking game, then Nukovic will forever be late into the box. But if they want to play with a proper build-up schemes, because Stuart can do that. He's a very good coach. I've got a lot of respect for him. So it's going to be interesting how he approaches the game. Of knowing the coach and what is strongest at Stuart Baxter is one of the strongest coaches on set pieces. That is one area he will never compromise. He's very strong there. And he does have the ammunition for that type of a game in Nukovic, in Matoho, in Cardoso, Katsande, Mpahlele, if he's playing, deciding to play him at right back. He's got quite a reasonable number of players that can help. Even Nange is a factor in that space, to be honest. And also, one of his major components in the game is a transitional game, which is counter-attacks, not necessarily a lot of break attacks, because his teams are not very strong in counter-pressing and pressing from the top, but they always give themselves that space behind your defense. And that is basically where you would expect him to be. But looking at the profile of the players that he have, and one in particular being Nukovic, that would not be as lethal when he has to play a counter-attacking game. He's more lethal when he's in and around the box a lot. And that is something that he will have to make very hard decisions, because for a proper counter-attacking game, a Kama, Keegan, Sekota combination would be a very dangerous combination, or a Parker, Kama, Sekota combination would be lethal on a counter-attacking game. But it has got some compromises defensively. It also has some compromises on set pieces, because it means they are losing one of their key players aerially. So it's a very interesting encounter. Yeah, Nascimento, we don't have any issues with him, but it's a little bit tricky to sign him before we know that he has fully recovered. It's a little bit of a banana skin. So we are waiting probably till the last minute to make a call in that space, but we are optimistic that he is probably likely to come back earlier, because from the procedure that he's been doing and the rehab that he's been doing, he's looking very good. So we are optimistic that we might have him. The Gaston Sereno one. To be honest, when he came back from Uruguay, he looked very interested. He looked committed to play within the club. He looked serious about his training and all that. But unfortunately, he got a knock in his knee, which was a great one. He's back in training this week, but we have not really seen him. How is he going to come up? But the truth of the matter, in terms of the outlook, it does not look like he wants to leave. But I think the club is very clear also in that space that if he has to leave and people are still interested, they must just bring an offer to the table, and the club is very considerate of whatever that might happen, because the club does not want to kill Gaston's career. That is very important, from the chairman of the club to the board and everybody else around the club, even to us, the technical team. If he no longer wants to play for Sundowns and people are coming with good offers on the table, the club is willing to take them. But what is not looking good sometimes is when there is too much talk of what is likely to happen, but nothing really happens on the table. So at this stage, I think it's a wait and see situation. But in terms of the commitment, the boy looks good, and I don't have any issues with him, and the coaches are very happy with him, to be honest.